Welcome to Mid-Year Reset. Don't we all need this right now? Perfect timing. This is a wellbeing event by CWH. If you have never been to one of our events before, I'd like to extend a very special warm welcome to you. My name's Carli Phillips, and alongside Unna Goldsworthy today, we have the pleasure of co-hosting this event for you. I will be handing over to Unna very shortly, who is the absolute expert in this field. But just to start off, I would like to acknowledge the traditional owners of the land on which we meet today, and we pay our respects to elders past and present. We would also like to acknowledge anyone on this call with lived experience or the caring of those with mental ill health. Let's start with some introductions. So my name's Carli. I'm a wellbeing keynote speaker. I'm the CEO of Corporate Wellbeing Hub and a wellbeing researcher. I'm a mental health first aider and a nutritionist. Gives me great pleasure to introduce Unna Goldsworthy to you today. Good morning, Unna.
Morning, everyone. It's a thrill to be here.
Do you want to start with a quick introduction of yourself?
Yeah, no worries. I am a wellbeing and performance coach with a background in exercise physiology. So I'm very much focused on the disruption of habits and this ability to get through what our mind's guiding us on to get through to what our body needs.
That sounds perfect for what we're talking about today. Thank you, Unna. A little bit of housekeeping. These sessions are 100% interactive. So feel free to use the chat box all the way through this wellbeing event. You can put in questions and Unna and I will help answer those throughout the session. You can put in comments, ideas, suggestions. We get absolute gold from attendees sharing with each other. So this is an open space that you can do that. When we get to the end of the session, I'll share a little bit more with you about Corporate Wellbeing Hub. But just to start off today's mid-year reset, I will hand over to Unna, who is going to lead us through this wellbeing event together. Thanks, Unna.
Thanks, Carli. All right. So a mid-year reset, we're looking to find the most meaningful goals to carry us through to the end of the year. So we'll deep dive into why we often fail at achieving goals and what we can do to turn that around, whether you're here to set a new goal or refocus on one that's important, that's drifted off. We're here to design creating strong, meaningful actions to create this clear path towards achieving. So by show of either emoji hand or physical hand, who has made a goal or thought about something they're wanting to do that's really meaningful in their life and gone right ahead and said, yep, I'm going to do this. This is going to be important for my change. And then who, keep that hand up if you have simultaneously continued to do things that sabotage you achieving that goal. Yeah. Okay, so what we've established here with all the beautiful pop, pop, pop hands going up is that we are a room full of humans and that adulting is hard. Adults are really bad at change. We don't like uncomfortable things. We get a bit agitated and we're master avoiders. So if something doesn't have deep meaning or if there's a little bit of doubt, anything in there, we tend to bail. Often without this really conscious awareness that we're doing it. It's just all of a sudden that thing that was important to us has disappeared. So here's a quick little insight to a story about a CEO, completely capable person coming with the want of support around achieving really important things in another aspect of their life. So they're managing hundreds of people, lots of strengths, really high skills. And when we talk about how did we get here? The things that come from this person's mouth don't really line up with the skills and strengths that they demonstrate at work. So often we sort of forget ourselves. We abandon our strengths when it comes to things that are a little bit trickier and that haven't been fully investigated about how meaningful they are or how we're going about them. So if we can jump in the chat, have a quick reflection back to the start of the year or something in the last couple of months. And did you set or begin the thoughts about a goal around fitness or health that's gone by the wayside? Career achievements? What was on your mind around personal growth or building changes in your relationships? What was on your mind that was meaningful that has just disappeared? And we can't talk about habit disruption without also looking a little bit under the hood. Yeah, like our CEO. This little gadget in here doesn't help us unless we get really clear on what are the stories and beliefs sitting under the way we make decisions and why and how we operate the way we do. Now, when you're thinking about that big goal, use your phone to scan and jump in here and just share with us what, now thinking back, were the big obstacles that completely deterred me away from that thing that was meaningful in my health, my career achievements, the relationships at home or the relationships in my social life. Where were my goals oriented and what got in the way? Time, fatigue, discipline, fear, motivation. Wow. Yep, these are all the things we need to create meaningful time. Self-soothing, interesting. Thank you. Myself got in the way. That is ultimately it. That is ultimately it. Thank you.
You see time come up for an excuse for just about every question, don't you? Why didn't we do this? And well, I don't have time. I don't have time. I don't have time. It's such an easy one to jump on.
It's an easy one. And it's harsh when we go, sorry, here's a cuddle and a slap, because time can't be that for you anymore, because we cannot unstitch the fabric of time and give you any more. It's simply the decisions. Wow. And these are very human responses coming in. I think we could all nod and relate and agree with what each other's saying. Amazing. Isn't that cool, watching that pop up, all the tangling in our minds that go behind our decisions? I want to introduce you to a concept that I hope will unlock and help. Workability. Why do we fail at goals? Because workability isn't considered. So workability is this idea that how I'm operating, does that get me to where I want to be towards what matters in my reset and my goal? So my beliefs, my personal narrative, the things that I'm saying, what I do, are they workable in a choice moment? If I pause before an action or before getting hooked with a thought or feeling, does this get me to where I want to be in 2 minutes' time, 2 months' time, 2 years' time? Does this work? So often the focus is towards the outcome, even sometimes towards the processes, but workability is about how do I relate to those logical processes? Do I need to adjust my life to fit the goal, or do I need to adjust me to achieve the goal? What do I need to start doing, stop doing, and continue doing that are in my strengths? And how do my beliefs and inner narrative relate to this? Most importantly, how do I operate on hard days? It's pretty good to be awesome on easy days, and it's easy to do that. But what does worthwhile feel like in orienting ourselves towards resetting and achieving goals? It often feels uncomfortable. It's often that agitation of decision about how I use my time, or how does this come up with a fear? So I just want to introduce you to 2 really important characters that are going to help us throughout the rest of this session. If we went in through here in our brain, the nickname of this little section is we're going to call the gator, the alligator. This is the place where survival is harnessed in our brains. It sets out fears, it relates us to our stories and beliefs that are sometimes hidden to us. And it just keeps us operating as closely to normal as possible because that's safe. Sometimes goals and resetting or changing behavior feels a little bit uncomfortable. So the gator will snap into play and pull you away from something. Then at the front here, we've got the judge. So all in all, these two should be working together quite fluently to help us make really meaningful decisions. But when we are overwhelmed, under pressure, and exhausted, this little fella gets to take over your decisions. Things that were meaningful, we can talk ourselves out of it. Things that were important to do at the start of the day, we just don't have it in us for time at the end of the day. So by the end of our time together today, we're going to get clear. You're going to get really clear on where the depleted things are happening, where the overwhelm and under pressure is happening in our minds based about how we go about our day. We're going to be clear on creating clarity through allowing our brain to reset, honoring the absolute non-negotiable of sleep if we do want to be 10 out of 10 and have time not as an excuse. The rhythms that naturally happen in our body are going to be an anchor for us to sit into. And we're going to gather our tribe so we are very clear on avoiding exhaustion. So quickly, what beliefs that don't serve you anymore are potentially pushing around your decision making? As we go along through the session, notice the gator rising up with fear when there's an exciting idea, but then suddenly you're talking yourself out of it. What avoidances or overprotective things are happening when you go to make a bold choice and go into a little bit of discomfort. So what we've done so far is top down. How can my mind boss me around about what I need to do? The next part is a lot about the bottom up, what we do with here when we make decisions and give ourselves confidence in our body to be 10 out of 10 as a superpower. Confidence is really about the readiness and being prepared. But we are not rookies. We know that anything that we lay out in the next 20 or so minutes is a lot to do with having to make decisions still in the end. Now, if I do my job well, there'll be a lot of nodding. There'll be a lot of aha moments popping up in the chat box. So go wild. I'm a bit like Lisa Simpson's. Yeah, I need a lot of feedback. And our faces will either be glowing or I'll be seeing kind of this part of your forehead as you're madly writing things down. I'm happy with any and all of these. Please service my ego as we go through the session. Yeah. All right. Let's take a little minute to pause because we don't get those minutes unless we put them there. So make yourself comfy in your seat. If you feel comfortable, close your eyes and you're going to take a 5-second breath in through your nose and a 5-second breath out through your nose. You're noticing that the tongue is sitting on the roof of your mouth. Your jaw's relaxed. And slowly, as you focus on that breath, you're able to let your chair accept the weight of your body. Slowly, with each exhale, you allow your shoulders to relax and turn the alarm systems off. Now, picture yourself 6 months from now. See yourself clearly. You've gotten to the end of the year, you still have energy available, and you're about to go on your holiday, and you feel full of life, not like you're about to get a cold within the 2 days of finishing work. What do you look like? Notice the confidence in your posture, the clarity in your eyes. This is your future self. Now imagine your daily life. Notice what you are doing that fills you with energy and purpose. See you engaging in activities that align with your values, the habits you've cultivated, and how you are spending your time. Your mind is clear. It doesn't get pulled around by things that are not of your highest priority. Now focus on what goal you've achieved in the next 6 months. See this goal clearly, relating to your career, health, relationship, or personal growth. As you see yourself fully achieving this goal, ask your future self, what is the first step I needed to take towards this goal? Feel their assurance as they guide you. Now think about the potential obstacles. Ask yourself, your future self, how did you overcome these obstacles? What mindset and strategy did you use? Hear their advice and encouragement. Remember, they have already navigated this successfully. Now that you've made these achievements in vivid detail, how does it feel for you to have reached these milestones? What has it taken for you to stay focused on and committed to in the hard days? And what is your inner narrative, and what are you saying to others? Notice the commitment and the powerful feeling of your reality when you've achieved something that was really important to you. Trust in the decisions and your ability to make this happen. Now, as we finish, gently squeeze your toes, wriggle your fingers. Take a nice deep breath in. And as you open your eyes, grab your pen or light up the chat box of where your focus is now. What did you learn from your future self? Well done. Notice yourself setting this time aside, doing something that's really important. Well done, everyone. So our next little mind bubble to jump into are ultradian rhythms. So these are the amazing rhythms that happen inside our body. You will have heard of a circadian rhythm, which is a sleeping rhythm, lasts 24 hours. So there's other little autonomic systems that happen in our body. And this one is sort of a 90-20 thing that happens in our body, discovered by a biologist back in the 70s, who was also studying hypnosis. And he, by accident, came across the idea that at predictable times, people more easily hypnotized. Then he found, and this evolved into this concept of the most effective way to use our brains to be productive. So what you see here in the rise on the side is about a couple of hours after we wake, this lift in arousal where our brains are more tuned in and our nervous systems are more capable to do challenging tasks. Then as that time passes, getting out to the other side of a 90-minute block here, our body naturally goes into a different rhythm. That is where, if we are listening to this rhythm, we could be most effective if we take a break. Aligning with these rhythms and taking that 20 minutes to change the stimulus to our senses in some way. This could be moving our body, changing what we're listening to, changing what we're seeing in terms of a screen, how we're filling our brain is the key to making sure that we get endurance out of our day and clarity in our thoughts all the way to the end of the day, particularly not turning up at home and being an absolute train wreck and having no emotions left for anyone left at home. So notice your gator here. Your gator will say things like, I'm too busy, I don't have time to stop. But what about the quality of the work rather than the quantity of your work? You say, thank you, brain. I'm interested in not burning out. And we quiet that fear. I'm in a high performance environment. I can't be seen to stop. Efficiency and the clarity and endurance of your work is what will be seen in the end when you get to 6 months' time and you are not completely burnt out and you've achieved amazing things. So in your current day, how could you work this natural energetic rhythm into those days where you do have choices about the rhythm? How could you have a meeting rather than going for an hour, going for 50 minutes to allow that brain to take a break? What changes can you make to your schedule that allow you to do high priority tasks within those peak energy periods? Okay, now our next idea is very much things that might slot into those 20-minute blocks. So we're layering here. Our body requires movement. So Professor Frank Booth, an exercise physiologist, 2002, gave us this gold bit of information. Our human genome has not changed for 45,000 years. It requires and expects the high physical activity for normal function. So if we spend the most of our day at our desk not moving, that is a good hint that your body is not being able to set up to do normal function. Our gene responds with a beautiful wave of 3 when we add movement into our day and allows us to be more adaptive to stress. So when we ease the gator and allow the judge to allow us those breaks, they can look like movement snaps. So here, this looks like seated calf raises. So from now, give me a nod if you're listening to me, but also pumping your calves to regulate your glucose levels. Beautiful, like a little metronome. Body weight squats. This has now been proven again with a recent study that if we get up and do something of a little bit of intensity to break up our work day, it improves our clarity. It reduces our decision-making fatigue, and it's shown to allow a restore of motivation, particularly based on long-term goals. The 5-5 breath, we just did it. So taking 2 minutes to just do that 5-5 breath at routine schedules during your day, or walking away from your computer, this place where it gives our signal to our brain that we're under threat, and looking out to the horizon, giving your brain the signal through your eyes and your sensory system that we are safe. Doing these things on an hourly rate just for 2 minutes is like taking your brain out and putting it onto a recharge mat. Yeah? These are, it's interesting, right? Because you look at this now and nod to me if you think these are pretty easy to do. And then keep nodding if you understand the reality of the gator bossing you out of it when the alarm that you set goes off and says it's time for your 2-minute break. This is what it takes. Successful people do things that other people are not willing to do. This is your invitation to be successful when your brain starts bossing you around. So, what small, manageable physical activities could you integrate into your daily routine for mental clarity? What would it mean to you to have less decision-making fatigue by the end of the day? to have better glucose metabolism, not have the 3 o'clock hungries or the 3 o'clock dive for the coffee? What would that mean for you? Okay, now our beautiful friend, sleep. Everything we have said up to now benefits your sleep. Do not be surprised. Be happily convinced that sleep is a 24-hour process to get right. If sleep does not serve an absolute vital function, then it is the biggest mistake evolution has ever made. Thank you, Alan. Don't make me say his surname. Yeah. So the pillar by which the rest of our health sit on is sleep. This we get from the amazing Dr. Matthew Walker, the sleep diplomat. Please invest in his book. So when we get home and we're dealing with our feelings, what we haven't dealt with well during the day, we reach for a glass of wine. That glass of wine makes us feel like we go to sleep well, but in fact, what it does is changes our sleep architecture and particularly takes away the refreshing part of our sleep. So now when we need to be a 10 out of 10 tomorrow, we wake at a 4 out of 10. We were already on the back foot. So just take a pause before we have that wine. What are the feelings I'm having and what do they mean to me? The 3 a.m. wake up is your indicator that your cortisol levels haven't been managed well during the day, because we never wake up at 3 a.m. thinking about our happiest holiday, do we? No. We are wired, we are tired, something's not right. During your day in those ultradian rhythms, go out and seek some natural sunlight. This is our indicator again to our brain, our sensory, that we're having a break. Particularly in the morning and in the evening, if we see the sun rise or set, these are great indicators to our body about when sleep isn't about to start. We need to warm our body. This is a great way to get to sleep. Pop yourself in a shower, have a warm shower, actively let the worries of the day go. And this cools our core temperature along with a cool room, allowing us to get to sleep. The muscles in our body need to know it's time to let go. So self-massage or a quick 5-minute yoga session to turn the fascia system off in particular, this is the one that communicates to the gator that we're still under threat. And then finally, breath work. These 2 options we've got here are the ones that help us to get to sleep and impact our sleep architecture and refreshment the most. But don't you worry that your gator will try and talk you out of it for the 5 minutes you need, at least 30 minutes before going to bed. So 4 seconds in, 7-second hold, 8 seconds out for 5 minutes, or 3 in, 7 out. So how does your current sleep routine set you up for a 10 out of 10 start to your day? What's one tasty little thing in there that you've done in the past or you're interested in doing tonight? What is the biggest obstacle at the end of the day to quality sleep? Are you too tired, ironically, to do some things to help your sleep? Or is your mind too wired? Where can our focus be during the day to change that? And now, our beautiful tribe. Who do we have around us and how are they impacting our level of reset or the goal that we're focused on? According to the American Society of Training and Development study, we are 95% more likely to achieve a goal when we direct the accountability to a third party. So write in the chat box or write down right now in quite bold, underlined, circled, who's your accountability partner at work? Who's your accountability partner outside, if it's relating to something you're focusing on outside? Who is your cheerleader when you need a pep up? when there's doubt in your mind, the gate is running wild and your brain is exhausted, so you cannot get to that judge to talk you around? Who's your reality checker? And who's your truth teller?
Anna, there's some lovely comments in the chat.
Oh, yeah.
In relation to sleep. So some examples of wine. Someone saying both, too fatigued to do anything productive and mind racing too much to fall asleep. I think we can all relate to that feeling.
And the wine makes sense, right? Because you just shut that all down. But, oh, it's a short-term win. It's such a short-term win. Thanks for being honest, everyone, because sometimes we feel put forward when we go for crutches. And, you know, I'm human too. I have a wine here and there, but I look for that option to pause and go, what am I trying to drown right now? Do I have an option not to? Thank you. Thanks, Carli. So in our tribe, who have we got in there and what conversations do we need to have with them? And give us a wave if you've heard of the 8-minute phone call. This is the newer kind of bit of information that we've figured out that all it takes is an 8-minute phone call a day to keep us connected with whatever sparks happiness in us. So achieving happiness, you don't go out to go and do it. It happens by us connecting with what's important to us. So who's your 8-minute phone call to today? What would it mean to connect to your accountability partner, your cheerleader, your reality checker, your truth teller? And even what am I to you? What role do I play to you? So, who in your current network truly supports and challenges you to reach your goals? How can you strengthen that relationship for that touch of accountability that we all need at the heavy end of the year? All right. So we were pretty close to the end. So we need to round this up to something pretty exciting. I'm sure it's been exciting already though. So you've got one goal written down already, and you've written some cool stuff about what we just spoke about. So now can we pause and revisit? Can you now write down at least 9 other goals and write them in the present tense? So this sounds like, I earn, I spend 30 minutes undivided attention with X. I am diabetes free. I achieve ... I am loving towards... Write down 9 other goals. Well done. Watch out for the gator. Get to that gut instinct of the gator. Don't let any stories or beliefs we need to get rid of get in the way. Be bold. Be interested in what you can create. Now I have a magic wand. It's this big pen, nearly out of ink. This is my magic wand. Now when I wave this, you can have any one of these goals within the next 24 hours, which one goal would have the most positive impact on your life? Waving the magic wand, circle that goal. Well done. Now let's run it through the SMART test. So S stands for specific. Let's not be fuzzy or vague or poorly defined about this. It's not I will be loving. It is I'll give my partner a good long hug when I get home from work, no matter my mood. It is I will leave work at 4:30 on a Tuesday and a Thursday to be home to help my kids with their homework. It is I will go to sleep by 8 and focus on my breathing without my mind bossing me out of it every night of the week. Be specific. M is for meaningful. Pause and run this goal, how you're speaking, how you're thinking, and what you're doing in line to this goal in relation to your most meaningful values. When I'm aligned with this value, acting towards this goal, what am I saying? What am I doing? What am I thinking? Is my highest goal connection? Is my highest value connection? Is my highest value freedom? How do I act towards this in line with that value? Write the value down. Get really clear on when you abandon that value and when you stay true to it. A is adaptive. Will this goal improve and adapt my life in a way that's really important to me? And I like to layer a little extra here. Can you adapt as you execute this? Because life's not predictable. Can we have perspective and perseverance when things just don't go as planned? Is it realistic? Do I have the time? Oh, let's be careful with that one. Do I have the money? Do I have the physical health? Do I have the social support? Do I have the knowledge and the skills for this goal? If you don't, this is what I like to call a sub goal. How do I adapt and get creative if I need this now? Or what have I got to do as a sub goal to put my focus towards? And then this last one, T is time framed. Now, this one might get your gator a little bit upset because here's the commitment. What is the specific day, date, and time as accurately as possible that you will start taking purposeful action towards this goal or this reset action? What is the smallest thing you can do today that will take you towards achieving this? Set a time for that. Remember, successful people do things that others are not willing to do. And I don't know about you, but I like the idea of getting to define myself as successful. This might feel like a bit of a slap, but nothing can stop this but you. So here we are at the end. You've now got a bit of an idea about where our mind gets depleted, overwhelmed, under pressure, and then we have trouble getting these two to connect in a way that's really meaningful with our decision making. We now know that our brain and our choices with our body get the opportunity to create focus and clarity through movement. Sleep is our non-negotiable. We don't get to choose smart things during the day if our sleep is compromised. Is this the first place we're focusing? Our body has this amazing preset rhythms that assure us success if we follow them. And who's in your tribe? Who's that 8-minute call to today? Maybe put them on your favorites list and put them on speed dial. Change their names. Here's my truth teller calling. What are we talking about today? What do they need to know? Now remember, I'm a little bit like Lisa Simpson. I need feedback. I need grade me. How did I do? So let's figure out what was the most helpful idea from today to support you to achieve your reset and focus. What strategy feels most exciting to you right now? What did your future self need when you chatted to them at the start of the session? Invitation to succeed, love it.
I have an A4 page of notes, Unna. I can't put it all into the poll. I put one of them into the poll.
Yeah, I like the sleep break. Yeah. Get that sleep brick, put it at the bottom. What does it take during the day to assure my sleep? Workability, nice. The hard days. Knowledge, yeah. The alligator, oh, I love the alligator. But when it's throwing out too much fear, it's that opportunity to go, what am I afraid of? What's behind that story? I might have a story that can help there as well. With the being a beginner, it was my own story. Let's see how we go at the end here. Ultradian cycles, beautiful. What small step can I take today? And that's that beautiful idea that if we just shift the boat by 1 degree, one small step every day looks pretty impressive in 6 months. No steps for 6 months looks like exactly where we are now, potentially backwards. Movement snacks, yum, yum, yum. Amazing. Thanks for sharing, everyone. The awareness of the self-sabotage. Yeah, I love going deeper on that one. That's so important. We can solve so many problems when we just figure out what the operating system's up to. Sleep is a non-negotiable. Get geeky about sleep is my say. Like, get really committed to sleep. Be absolutely fine to say, we need to move that to 6 o'clock because I'm in bed by 8. Yeah.
Unna, there's a few behind that QR code. I think you can turn that off and scroll down and there'll be some underneath. There you go.
Here we go. Accountability. Getting that third party to hold you accountable. I have an accountability partner for the gym, which might sound odd for the exercise physiologist, but it is just that little bit. I'm human too. Give me a break. There's just that little bit that we keep each other accountable. What's your gym look like this week? So we might see each other at the gym, or we might not, and we put our schedule out there. And then if the adaptability comes into play, I didn't get there, but I've got my, weights at home that I can do something with. You'll have a go at this. One of my movement snacks is I've got a dumbbell that sits at the top of the stairs, pick it up, carry it down, put it at the bottom. I do what I got to do. I pick it up, I carry it back up the stairs. Just get creative. Yeah. Go the long way from the meeting room back. March on the spot. Get other people at work involved so they don't think you've lost it when you're running on the spot after a meeting. Yeah. Yeah, well done. 8-minute phone call. Who's the 8-minute phone call going to be to today? Yeah, maybe your reality checker or truth teller. Or if the gate is in there a little bit, go for your cheerleader. Get them to pep you up a little bit. You got this. All right. Thanks so much. That was amazing to see everyone's response. I want to scroll an 8-minute again. Prioritize stress reduction. We can make much better decisions when our brain is clear and the threat is gone. What are my threats? Well done. Thanks, Carli. Thanks, everyone.
Unna, wow. Isn't she amazing, everyone? I've got a whole page of notes. I just love that there is something for each of us as individuals from all that beautiful stuff you shared with us today. In my notes, I've kind of reframed a lot of my narrative. You had some beautiful words that were new to me that are really going to help me. So I love the judge and the gator. You know, you never lose that once you go through this experience with you. I love the invitation to succeed and I love the tribe. So there are a couple of takeaways for me. So thank you so much.
Amazing. Thanks, Carli.
Please use the chat box. This is an opportunity for you to ask questions, share feedback, share ideas, suggestions, anything you would like. We've got 35 people on the call. We've got a few minutes remaining. This is our opportunity to interact. So I invite you to do that now. While we are doing that, I wanted to share with you our wellbeing menu for 2024. If you haven't seen this before, this is our list of topics that we deliver to workplaces, both on site and online. So the way we've set up the wellbeing menu this year is in 3 separate columns. So the first column I have entitled Feel Good and Fun. So these are the kind of light-hearted topics that I really recommend companies start with if you are just starting your wellbeing journey. If you don't want to dive into something that is super sensitive, or if you're bringing in a brand new provider and you want to test the waters, start with something lighthearted and enjoyable that gets people into it. Especially good at right at the start of the year, but also nice at that mid-year section. So in that top left-hand corner, you can see habit disruption. Today, Unna has taken us through quite a bit of that content. So if this is something that you think is helpful for you and may be helpful for other people in your workplace, that wellbeing event is called Habit Disruption, but there might be some other topics in there that are of interest to you as well. I'm a nutritionist, so I teach a lot of the nutrition topics, self-care, productivity, a whole range of things. In the middle, this is where we can really dive into some of the psychosocial risks that you might have identified. You might have noticed some things going on in your workplace that are making work days hard. So Unna talked about how do we cope when we have hard days and bringing in some of these strategies. So we dive into things like burnout, like workload management, finances, all different types of topics there. And then where we're going into at this time of year is we're starting to plan for these really, really busy wellbeing months, which are typically September, October. So every company wants to do something on Are You OK Day, which is fantastic. Please consider all of October as well, which is Mental Health Month. If you're just at the start of the wellbeing journey, start off with something like sparking wellbeing conversations and check-ins, just to give people words and confidence to do that. You might be well down your journey and want to have a look at positive psychology or emotional intelligence. So it depends on the journey that you're at and what the mental health literacy levels are like of your employees. So this is our menu. I wanted to introduce you to the rest of our Corporate Wellbeing Hub team. If we can just have a look at the next slide, please, Unna. We have got 9 facilitators you can see on the screen here. About half of us based in Melbourne and the rest spread out across Australia and Asia. So we're really happy to come and do some lovely in-person events, which has been so refreshing and lovely this year. Did a little bit last year, but lots this year. Or we can deliver online or also through e-learning modules. So we can do things on demand, either send you files that you can upload into your portal, or we can run them through our learning management system and just give people access to them. You can see from the screen from all of these wellbeing experts that everyone's got their own specialty. So each person brings their own level of expertise to the team, which is why we can offer such a broad range of topics for you and your employees. If you don't know where to start, I would highly recommend starting with a workplace assessment. Shoot me an email if you want to know a bit more about that. It'll just give you a report so that you know where your risks are and how to address those risks that really meet the needs of your employees. Basically helps you write a draft wellbeing program. So I'm just going to take you to the final slide now. I want to thank everyone so much for coming to this wellbeing event by CWH. Big thank you to Unna for hosting today. Thank you, Unna.
Thanks, everyone.
It's lovely to have you here. So if you have 1 minute spare, please scan the code you can see on the left-hand side. That is just feedback for today. And you can see a photo of me with an open chair. That is my invitation for you to join me if you would like to partner with us to help enhance wellbeing in your workplace. Just scan the code and book a wellbeing call with me. That will just give us a chance to have a chat. You can let me know what's happening in your business and what's happening with your employees, and I can share with you a bit about what we offer and see whether that is a good fit for you or not. If you're interested in that, just scan the code and you can find a time in my calendar there to book a call. Let me jump into the chat and read these out before we close today's session. What a fantastic session. Makes me want to go down the rabbit hole on this topic for the rest of the day, but unfortunately work calls. Thank you, Louise. Okay, if there's any other questions, you can pop them in now. We've got a couple of minutes. Otherwise, we will be close to closing this call for today. You might get 5 minutes gift of time, and I hope you can use some of these strategies Unna has shared with us today to do that. Thank you, Kelly. Glad it was helpful for you.
Louise also had a great insight. She noticed that her sleep was mostly challenged by trying to squeeze the last thing into a day, running around just before going to bed, which for some, running around, getting a little bit of energy out might be helpful, but maybe in a different movement strategy way, maybe the yoga way, rather than running around squeezing things in.
Thank you, Fran. Glad it was inspiring and a lift to your day. Jessie, everyone's getting an email with the key takeaways, and it's being recorded. If you want a recording, you can let me know. I can send it over to you.
Yeah, we've got 2 calls for the recording.
Okay, no worries. And thank you, Catherine, and thank you, Vicky. Okay, there's no questions, so I think we will go ahead and close today's session. Thank you, everyone, for coming today. Thanks for your interaction. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. You've got your action plan ready to go for today. We will look forward to seeing you at our next wellbeing event. Thanks, everybody. Bye.
Thanks, everyone. Bye.